Marc Bernal has reached a pivotal moment at Barcelona. A long-term injury and surgery paused a promising rise, turning match routines into months of calm, focused rehabilitation. As the new season nears, Bernal faces a test of resilience, to turn recovery into performance and to prove that absence was a reset rather than an end. This is a story of patience, steady repetition, and invisible work. The measured, unglamorous rebuilding that happens before a comeback. Will that work pay off when the whistle blows? Barcelona have been clear about their plans for Bernal, naming him among the young midfielders they expect to matter in 2025-26. That vote of confidence shaped a cautious approach to his return. On the pre-season tour to Asia, long flights, humid venues, and bright floodlights, Bernal saw limited action because he had not yet been medically cleared, while teammates ran on temporary turf and felt the buzz of friendlies. Bernal traded the crowd noise for the quiet rhythm of physio rooms and targeted sessions, building the base he needs to compete again. What will it take to turn that groundwork into minutes on the pitch? Recent reports from Diario Sport say Barcelona's medical staff have now granted Bernal the medical clearance he needed after a comprehensive set of examinations. According to the coverage, doctors judged his physical condition to be excellent and his recovery very satisfactory. Those formal findings are the product of months of structured physiotherapy, progressive strength work, balance and proprioception drills, controlled sprints and repeated testing to ensure his body responds under load. Having been sidelined for almost a year since his operation, this sign-off represents a meaningful rehabilitation milestone. Is this medical endorsement enough for the jump back into competitive football? Even with medical clearance, a return to competitive matches is not automatic. Barcelona's protocol recommends waiting a full 365 days from the date of the operation before a player is permitted to feature in an official game. That guideline exists to reduce the risk of re-injury, because repaired tissue and joints require time to adapt to the unpredictable stresses of real matches. Training can be controlled and scaled, but matches involve sudden impacts, high-speed collisions and repeated directional changes that test the body in ways clinic work cannot fully replicate. Can he meet the timetable without risking the progress he has made? The final decision will rest with Hansi. The manager will weigh the medical reports, Bernal's training data and on-pitch performance, and the tactical needs of the squad, before deciding whether to include him in official fixtures. There is cautious optimism inside the club that Bernal could be ready around mid-September, with the home game against Valencia at the newly reopened Spotify Camp Nou, mentioned as a likely candidate for a comeback. A return at Camp Nou would offer familiar turf and passionate support, but Flick will want clear evidence that Bernal can handle the full intensity of match play. Will Flick give him the green light at Camp Nou? For Bernal, the daily focus is practical. Train at full intensity, rebuild confidence, and let readiness be proven through consistent pain-free practice. Reports indicate he is training without major restrictions and will be included in the squad for the Joan Gamper Trophy, a controlled environment that can help bridge the gap between rehab and competition. The true markers of readiness will be objective. A sprint completed without discomfort, a full session finished at match pace, accurate passing under pressure, and those small wins will matter far more than any speculative calendar date. Will those small wins add up to a lasting place in the team? So the question remains, will this medical green light lead to a mid-September return, or will prudence demand further testing and time? The clearance is an important and hopeful milestone, but the next chapter is written by Flick's judgment, the club's medical rules, and Bernal's day-to-day progress on the training ground. Fans, coaches, and the player himself will be watching closely for the moment his boots meet the Camp Nou turf again. And that moment will reveal whether the pause was a setback or the breath before a roar. Which version will we see? Until the decision, club staff, teammates, and fans will balance hope and caution, watching training metrics and minutes, waiting for the single moment that proves the recovery is complete and genuine.